Good morning. Happy Friday. And today we are going to be talking about how to organize your business because we are up to the fourth video in the business mindset manual, and I'm super excited to be bringing this information to you. We are going to be talking about how to organize your video. For those of you guys who are just tuning in and you're like, what's going on? Well, what's going on is I have launched the Business Mindset Manual, and I'm so super stoked about it. I'm so super stoked about helping so many aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs who have not managed to consistently earn income in their business figure out how to do it. And I want to make sure that you guys have some amazing support when you guys are working through the Business Mindset Manual. So every day except for Monday, because the internet just wouldn't let me be great, and Thursday because it's a coaching day, I'm coming on live and I'm talking about some business concepts that will turn into free video bonuses that you guys will have lifetime access to when you invest in the Business Mindset Manual. And today we are talking about organizing your business, which this isn't my favorite section, but it is the section that definitely, once I yielded to it and I did the work that needed to be done, I got my business finances together. And so my ultimate aim with the Business Mindset Manual is to help the aspiring entrepreneur, the current entrepreneur, build a meaningful business. That's pretty loud. Build a meaningful business and eliminate the feast to famine cycle in their finances. And for those of you guys who have been following me, you guys watched me literally build my company from nothing. I started this particular company that you guys are being able to purchase and get things from me from with no money about a year and a half ago. And I started it very slowly, and I started it very steadily and very consistently, and ultimately very strategically. And I've managed here in a little over a year to take my income from being under $500 a month to now being a consistent $5,000 a month or more, $5,000 a month on average. And I work part-time, and I realized that I wasn't able to do that because of magic. I wasn't able to do that because I'm special. I was able to do that because I allowed myself to really transition out of an employee paradigm and really transition away from thinking like an employee or just thinking like somebody who just had this great, wonderful idea, and really move into the space of thinking like a real entrepreneur and a real business owner. And that was like the game changer. And I think that once I started to think like a real business owner, when I had to sit down and think through organizing my business, I was a lot more committed to organizing it, because I'm like, if I'm a real business owner, then I can't just think that it's going to be enough for me to be talented and like hope that people are going to show up. Like, no, I have to pause and do the work of organizing things so that way I have a real business. And so today, that's what we're talking about. We're actually going to be talking about the 4 systems that I think every business needs, no matter what type of business you're in. Some of the details, how they support you in building a meaningful company, how they support you in building a company that truly, like, my major aim, I want people to build meaningful companies, but second to that, I really want to help entrepreneurs develop a consistent income, because nobody goes into entrepreneurship wanting to struggle. Like, the risk of entrepreneurship in terms of the level of your soul that you are putting out and saying, hey, here's a piece of my soul, would you like to buy it? The level of that you're doing for people, nobody's doing that just because they're like, oh, I just want to put my soul out there. No, we're doing that because we think that there's going to be a payoff via finances. And then also I think we do it because there's something inside of us that's driving us to bring something new to the marketplace. And what I want to support entrepreneurs in doing is becoming financially free, using their company, using the resources that their company like brings in for them, rather than them struggling to try to serve people. And I find that so many entrepreneurs struggle to try and serve a community, to try to serve their target market, to try to serve customers, because they haven't mastered their systems. And so I want to talk about systems today, and specifically the 4 systems that I think every entrepreneur needs to have. The way that this is going to show up in the Business Mindset Manual, because everybody's business is different. In the Business Mindset Manual, you will have checklists for each of these systems that I just think is a really great place to start for the system, so that way, like, if right now you're hearing like, system, what system? It's just like, I'm going to put a checklist. Well, there is a checklist in the Business Mindset Manual where you can say, okay, do I have this? Do I have this? If I don't have this, and there's also going to be a place for you to customize to the uniqueness of your business. But even with your customizations, the foundation of your systems, you're going to need these systems. So the very first system that you're going to need in business, and this is probably the system that most people get stuck on, but it's not the whole business and it's not all of your systems, but we're going to start here because this is the one that people get stuck on, is that you are going to need a marketing system. And your marketing system, in my opinion, foundationally is made up of three components. You have an email marketing component, you have a content marketing component, and then you have a social marketing component. And sometimes people interchange social and content marketing, and sometimes people interchange social and email marketing. But truthfully, to have a fully fledged marketing system, I think you're going to need each of these three pillars to actually be able to stand on. And so before, when I talked about this originally, I was like, email marketing is so important. I feel like it should just be a totally separate system in and of itself. But I realized from an organizational perspective, it could get a little bit confusing. So it made more sense for me to say, okay, no, your email marketing system is under your marketing system, but it is so important that it could potentially stand alone. So I want to start by talking about your email marketing system. Your email marketing system is the system that you have in place to directly communicate with your customers and target market. That is what an email marketing system is. It is the system that you have for directly communicating with your customers and your target market. So right now, what most people think is the direct way to communicate with their target market and their customers is to put up a post on a social platform or put up a post on their website, and that's the direct way. But that's not the direct way. It's an indirect way, and it's a third-party way, and it's actually a very roundabout way, especially with the invention of algorithms, to communicate with your target market. Your email marketing system, however, is someone giving you permission to directly communicate with them. There's no greater direct access that you will have to an individual than through their email. That communication is so direct that there's not a store on the planet that you can go into that doesn't say, oh, and what's your email? They're not asking you for your email because they're just like, oh, I really want to give you 10% off, or I want to sign you up so that you can get bonus points. No, they're asking you for your email because they want to be able to directly communicate with you when their store changes, has a sale, or their store is doing something. And the email marketing system has replaced the old marketing system where we used to receive marketing via direct mail. But the updated version of direct mail is just email. So your most important marketing system is going to be your emailing system. It doesn't matter what business you are in. It doesn't matter how long you have been in business. If you do not get your email marketing system down, you are not going to be a person who can consistently earn income from month to month. Why? Because you do not have direct access to your clients and customers. And don't let social media confuse you by, oh, I have 100,000 here, I have 200,000 here. There are people who have 100,000 people following them, and they could not get that 100,000 people who follow them to give them $1. That is how indirect your social media marketing is, your social media access is. That even if you wanted to give everybody on your list $1, social media marketing doesn't enable you to do that. Email marketing does. It is your ability to directly communicate with your customers. So you need an email marketing system. And so language around email marketing systems, there are different email marketing clients. And again, in the business mindset manual, I'll have sort of a checklist for you guys to think through. It's beyond the scope for me to dive into what an email marketing client would be, but I just want you guys to, from a mindset perspective, say, okay, one of the business systems that I need is a marketing system, and inside of my marketing system, one of my pillars is an email marketing system, and this system is designed for me to directly communicate with my clients and customers and potential customers. The other marketing system that you need inside of your, or the other pillar inside of your marketing system that you need is a content marketing system. Your content marketing system is that communication that you send out. I feel like, did I do that again? I don't know. I can't tell if it's just the light is weird, but your content marketing system is, sorry guys, my eye is really, it's like having a bit of a fit here. Your content marketing system is the system where you strategically offer free value to your clients and customers in an effort to convert them into customers, where you consistently offer free value to your community in an effort to convert them into paying clients and customers. You need a content marketing system. And for those of us who have online business, and that's just popular right now, but again, you don't have to have an online business. But those of us who have an online business, that's sort of like people who have a podcast. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Miley Till. She's the founder of Curlbox, but she used to have, or she does, she still has a podcast called My Taught You Podcast. She, for 5 years, offered content and marketed to us via her podcast, just generally telling us about her. One year, she decided to sell a journal. That journal sold out within a month or 2 months because she had a content marketing system where we had already begun to consistently receive content from her for 5 years before she ever tried to sell us something. So your content marketing strategy is important because this is the free, valuable content that you strategically give to your potential customers over a period of time in an effort to convert them into paying clients. Now, the trouble with most people who enter into business is that they don't have a content marketing system, which means they don't have a means of delivering value. Sometimes they don't even know what value is, but that's for tomorrow's conversation. But they don't have a means of delivering value. They don't have a means of being able to say, here's this thing that I'm going to give to you so that you can know more about me. That it doesn't matter if it's a podcast, it doesn't matter if it's your YouTube channel, it doesn't matter if it's your blog. This is for people who have online businesses. If you are a brick and mortar physical product, and like you want to sell t-shirts, and I had mentioned this before, like it's not like you wake up one day and you put a great slogan on your shirt and people are clamoring to buy your slogans. It's like, no, you have to offer some sort of valuable content for me to even value the slogan that you have on the shirt. Like, what words have you been sharing with me consistently over time that make me believe in the slogan that you put on the shirt? What quotes have you been expressing? How have you been showing up? How have you been inspiring me? How have you been educating me to where the point where I now want to put this label on my shirt, I can believe in this t-shirt design that you have. And so many people have like these amazing product ideas, but they can't figure out how to offer free value about their product ideas, so they can't build a relationship with their potential customers because their customers don't have an avenue to figure out whether or not they know, like, and trust them, which again, we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. But the idea here is your second pillar inside of your marketing system is, what is your content marketing plan? Like, how are you going to deliver consistent, valuable content to your community so that ultimately you can convert them into paying customers? Again, it sounds like a lot. It is. You're building a whole entire business. Business doesn't have to be hard, but I think forever and until the end of the day, the business will be complicated, and those of us who can make it through this part of the business are the people who will actually make it to moving out of that feast to famine cycle and actually being able to build something meaningful that serves people all around the world. The third pillar of the marketing system that you're going to need is your social content marketing pillar. And this is how you interact via social. Now, sometimes people confuse their content marketing with their social marketing. I think that these two things are different. They can be the same, but I think by and large, you're going to find that if you want to have a sustainable business that lasts a long time, you are going to create two separate plans inside of your marketing system. And the reason for that is, and this is something that people have been experiencing, anytime you hear somebody saying, how do I overcome the algorithm? How do I deal with this algorithm? Oh my goodness, the algorithm affected my business. These are people who only have a social marketing process. They don't have a content marketing process, in the sense that, like, they put all of their free valuable content on someone else's social platform, and then they seek to monetize that. And the minute that company, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever, they change their algorithm, these people are negatively impacted because all they had was a social marketing system. And I'm going to argue that you need a social marketing system and you need a content marketing system. And your content marketing system, again, is that free, consistent value that you're going to offer to people. And I encourage people to offer that free, consistent value on a platform that belongs to them, i.e. your website or something like that, versus your social content is still going to be free, consistent, valuable content, but it's going to be designed to interact with your community socially, so that way you can bring them over to your content and allow your content to convert them into your customers. These three things are important to your overall marketing system. And again, the business mindset manual, I have checklists where I walk you through, okay, what social platforms are you using? What is your social plan? Like, how often are you going to post? Where are you going to post? Why are you going to post there, etc. I'm walking you through all of these questions so you can clearly see the difference between your social marketing, your content marketing, and then ultimately your email marketing, because your email marketing is going to have the highest conversion rate. And this is an example that I had given to one of my clients before. Like, you have to think about it. Like, if you see a post on social media, it tends to be that if I see a post on social media and somebody's like, oh my gosh, you can get this amazing t-shirt for $20, I don't have a problem buying a $20 t-shirt from social media. But if someone was like, oh my gosh, you can opt into this mastermind for $20,000, chances are you're not going to take me from Instagram to PayPal to give you $20,000 because I saw something on Instagram. No, if you want me to give you $20,000, I may go from Instagram to your website, and then maybe I may get on your email list before I'm willing to give you $20,000. But this is the reason why you need these three pillars of your marketing system in place, because without them, your clients, your potential customers, the people in your community don't have a place to go in order to be able to build that know, like, and trust factor and ultimately invest and purchase from you. So that is the first system. This is your marketing system with three pillars. All of the successful, sustainable businesses that you love, adore, respect, and admire, they have this. They may not overtly express it this way, but they have it. And again, in order for you to even wrap your mind around this without getting overwhelmed, it takes a paradigm shift. That's the reason why the Business Mindset Manual focuses on your mindset, because the way that you have to think through this system is challenging, and that is a part of entering into this thing called entrepreneurship. That is the reason why people don't succeed, because people think, oh my gosh, I'm talented, I can build a business. And talent will only take you so far if you don't have an actual marketing system. And again, it doesn't matter if you're service-based, if you're online-based, or you're product-based. You need to have a fully functioning marketing system. Okay? The second system that you need to have, which people often confuse with their marketing system, is a sales system. Marketing and sales are two different things. Marketing is storytelling, telling people about it, getting people excited, etc., etc. Selling is the actual process that you have in place to exchange whatever it is that you're delivering to people, and then them paying you money. And remember, from the very first lesson, you are in business to make money. So oftentimes what aspiring entrepreneurs will do is they'll be like, oh my goodness, boom, I know my target market. I'm, willing to accept economic responsibility. I have emotional maturity. I'm building a business around my talent. I have my marketing system in place. Show me the money. And they're like, I don't understand why I don't have any money. And I'll tend to say, you're doing an amazing job marketing, but you're doing a horrible job selling. Marketing and selling are two different systems. And when you treat them like two different systems, then your company can make money. So for example, right now, I am marketing to you guys about the Business Mindset Manual. I'm giving you free, valuable content in that for 7 days. You guys can watch these videos and try to get everything that you want to be able to get from them. It is going to be available to you. These videos are literally going to become the videos that people who invest in the Business Mindset Manual have a lifetime access to. I'm talking about it every day. I'm sharing it on my Instagram. All of that is marketing. People in my email list have heard about it. All of that is marketing. The sales process is the process that you guys experience when you go from listening to this, clicking that link that's in the description box below, and then going to the sales page that I have, where on the sales page, it talks a little bit more about the Business Mindset Manual. But it's not just that sales page, it's also the payment processor. You guys can pay me through Stripe, you guys can pay me through PayPal. All of that is in place so that way you guys don't experience any friction when you're putting in your card number to pay me the $49. But the marketing is different than the sales. And most people don't have different systems for this. So what pillars do you need in your sales system? The three pillars you need in your sales system is you need to understand the cycle of your sales. That means how long does it take to convert someone from your community or someone who heard about you into a paying customer. That is your sales cycle. I know that my sales cycle for the Business Mindset Manual is approximately 48 hours. That means 48 hours from the time that somebody has heard me, I know they have already decided internally whether or not they're going to invest in the business mindset manual. Now, I understand that that's how long it takes them to decide whether or not they're going to do it. And so that is my overall sales cycle. Does that mean that some people are not purchasing 5 days later and some people aren't purchasing 7 days later? Absolutely not. You can purchase, you can invest in the business mindset manual whenever you want to. But by and large, I understand that it takes about 48 days of me marketing consistently for me to convert people in my sales cycle. But that's for the business mindset manual. If I was selling a speaking engagement, I know that my sales cycle for a speaking engagement is 6 to 9 months. I know that because people plan their events, the conferences, and I like to speak at conferences, people plan conferences 9 to 15 months in advance, which means that in order for me to close, like if I pitch myself as a speaker for an event, I need to keep in mind it takes 6 to 9 months before I ever get the check from the pitch that I put out 6 to 9 months ago, at least the deposit. It may take 6 to 9 months for me to really onboard them fully fledged as a client. But because I know that, because I know my sales cycle for speaking, I know what I should be doing sales-wise in the first quarter in order to make sure I have speaking engagements in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, and so on and so forth. But most people don't understand their sales cycle. So while they're marketing, boom, 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 buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, they don't actually know how many times they have to encourage or invite somebody to buy in order to actually get them to buy. They don't know, does this person need to be on my email list before they're investing? Does this person need to be in my community before they're investing? They don't know what their sales cycle is, and because they don't know what their sales cycle is, sometimes they're getting discouraged when people aren't investing because they just don't understand the sales cycle for this product is 7 days, 2 weeks, 9 months, a year. There are people whose sales cycle is 2 years. They're whole multi-million-dollar companies with a 2-year sales cycle. They understand from the moment they meet a client that before that client invests, it may take upwards of 2 years before they actually need their work. That is an amazing way to be able to think through business of like, I'm going to keep engaging with this client, understanding that 2 years from now, they're likely going to be a paying customer. But again, that's just another example. But your sales cycle is the first pillar in your sales system. And again, I have these checklists in the business mindset manual because I understand that systems are quite overwhelming. I remember when I was first mastering them and I was just like, man, this is why people don't succeed in business, because nobody wants to do this. Not a single person wants to do this. And if you want to think about this from a reference from, you know how in the first video we talked about how you have your entrepreneur, your manager, and your technician, I'm pretty sure you guys can guess which role fulfills this. Your manager is the one fulfilling the role of these systems. And at the end of the day, probably in the more traditional sense, because I mean we have the internet and we get to take that advantage of that, but probably in the more traditional sense of when people were building companies, these systems used to be managed by people first. But now we have the internet and we have tools and we have apps and things like that where the apps can take the place of a person. But even as your company grows, what people tend to do is bring on departments to eventually be their marketing department, or department to be their sales department, so on and so forth. So the second pillar in your sales system, that you're going to need, so you have your cycle, then the other pillar that you need is your processor. And your processor is literally as it sounds. How are people going to pay you? I know that people can come to my website and pay me. I know that I can invoice people. I know that if I was at a live event and somebody wanted to buy something, I have a Square and I have a Swiper. Like, what is the payment processor that you're going to use, and understanding the fees that are associated with your payment processor. You'd be so surprised how many people are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sell so many copies of my book. I'm going to sell so many. And they have them at their event and they didn't bring a payment processor and they are expecting people to pay them cash. And we live in 2019. People are rarely buying things in cash anymore, right? Mental health matters. She said like a real estate agent. Yeah, that's somebody with an extremely long sales cycle. But also if you're in real estate, like what is your payment processor? You understand that primarily your payment processor, in addition to your sales cycle being long, your payment processor, if you're in real estate, is not PayPal. Nobody is buying a house through PayPal. But so many people will go into business not thinking through their sales system, thinking that they need to build a platform on a processing platform on PayPal. But it's just like your business is not going to be running payments through PayPal, so why would you do that? And so you have to be thinking through this particular sales system. So that's the second thing that you need, the second pillar in your sales system. And then the third pillar in your sales system is the close. And the close is really important because a lot of people never actually close, and the close is the part of your sales process where after someone has given you the payment, right? Like your payment processor has processed it, so you understand the cycle, the payment processor has processed it. What information are you going to send to the people to let them know that they have officially been sold this particular item? So that could be your invoice, or not your invoice, that could be the receipt, that could be an email, that could be whatever it is. Like that could be you turning over the keys, that could be you having them come in and sign a contract. There's so many ways for you to close your sales, but most people don't have their close process detailed. Like if you are a life coach, and you are selling life coaching and people are signing up, do you have them sign a contract? Do you have them sign a non-disclosure agreement? What is in your close as a speaker? What is in my close? When I send my writer, when I send my contract, what information is in there in terms of what they can expect in the next step? And again, most people, when they're thinking through their sales system, they're not even seeing it separate from their marketing system. They think it's enough to have Instagram and be like, oh, well, Instagram, you can shop right off of Instagram, so this is totally fine. And it's just like, that's not a sales system. Instagram is a marketing tool that you can use as one of your pillars in your marketing system, but it is far from a sales system or a sales tool. And your sales tool, you need to have your understanding of your cycle, your processor, and your close. Those are all the pillars of your sales system. So that's the second system that every single business, no matter what business you're in, that you are going to need to have. The third system that every single business needs to have, no matter what business they're in, is the production system. And the production system is relative, again, to the type of business that you're in. If you are in a product-based business and you are selling journals, what is the process for bringing that journal into life, to physically, tangibly having a journal? If you are an author and you want to be self-published and you are in the business of selling your books, what does it take to bring a physical copy into your hand? Same thing if you are like me and you make a living talking. So because I make a living talking, my production process looks way different than somebody who makes tangible products. My production process includes, what does it take for me to write and deliver a speech? What does it take for me to write and deliver a manual, because that's something that I'm producing? What does it take for me to write and deliver the content in my marketing systems, my email marketing system, my content marketing system, and my social marketing system? All of that is production. And just like all the other systems, production has 3 pillars as well. So in your production, you have your cycle. What is the cycle that it takes? What is the timeline that it takes for you to produce something? How much time does it take for me to create a manual? How much time does it create for me to create a video? How much time does it create for me to write a caption to an Instagram post? I know what my production is for every single thing that I produce in my business. Every single thing. And this is one of the systems that people want to neglect because they don't want to think through what they're doing with their time. But you need to think through what you're doing with your time, because your production system is the thing that tells the technician role what to do. And most people are just running around doing what feels fun and gets the most validation, i.e. posting pretty pictures on Instagram so you can get a like and calling it a business. That is not business. That is you using Instagram for the way that it was originally intended, which was just supposed to be a social sharing platform. Real business is sitting down and thinking through, how long does it take me to produce 7 images for Instagram for my company to promote and market my company? How long does it take for me to produce emails? How long does it take? How long does it take for me to be able to produce these things? So your first thing is you need your cycle, like the process of how long it takes to produce. The second thing that you're going to need in your production is your the actual process, and this is you writing out what it takes to produce it. So for example, I have a template for my speeches. So if someone reaches out to me and they're like, Stacey, we want a 45-minute keynote, I have a template for how I produce a 45-minute keynote. If a brand partner reaches out to me and they're like, we want a dedicated video, I have a template for how I'm going to produce a dedicated video. I have a template for how I do my blogs. I have a template for how I go live. I have a template for every single thing that I do in my company. And I have a template because in the event that, say I wanted to hire a videographer, but I wanted the transition from me filming myself to the videographer filming me to be seamless, to where you guys wouldn't be like, oh, this is different, this is new. Like, you would still sort of feel the authentic transparency that you guys say that you get from me. Well, because I have a template, I can just tell my videographer, this is what I typically do and how I shoot a day or how I shoot a vlog. Can you follow this template? Your production process is important, because the only way for you to eventually free yourself from having to do everything is if people know how to do the thing that you're doing. And people don't like to write down their production process because they're always so afraid that if their production process is written down, somebody's going to come along and steal their idea. And here's the thing, somebody can come along and steal your idea, but they're not you. So even if, for example, the production process for this manual, if they knew, okay, this is how Stacey drafts her manuals, this is how she edits it, this is how she delivers it, this is what she does, and then she goes live, she breaks everything into threes. Even if they knew that, they could try to execute this, but they are not me. So them trying to get up in the morning and talk for an hour about a concept that I made up, they're not going to be able to do it. So even if you gave them the playbook of how you do what you do, they are not you. They don't have your stamina, they don't have your energy, they don't have your conviction, they don't have your passion, they don't have your wisdom, they don't have your insight. They can't duplicate what you do. Oprah could write down every single thing that she does, and nobody could bring anybody to tears with the question of, well, what do you think that was really about? But Oprah. Oprah can do that because she's Oprah. Beyonce can put the playbook. How do you launch a visual album with all these songs and all these videos? Could put that together, and somebody else could do it, but they could never do it how she does it. And so we get really leery about writing down our processes, but one of the reasons why we don't have a successful, sustainable business that generates consistent income is because we make it up every single time we do it. Like, I make up a speech when I'm customizing a speech, but I don't make up the format. This is my format. This is how I generate a great speech. This is how you are going to distinguish me between anyone else who delivers a speech, because I'm using my speech template, my video template, my podcast template, my live template. I'm using my template, and so many people waste time, energy, and effort because they literally reinvent the wheel every single time they go to produce something for their business. And it's the same thing if you have a product-based business. If you're like making candles and every single candle is a customized candle because you want it to be hand touched and hand poured, it's like, that's not fruitful. You need to think about the recipe for a candle that's 48 ounces, a recipe for a candle that's 32, a recipe for a candle that's 10. There needs to be a template for every single thing that you produce in your company. That is what it means to be in business and have a system. It's not the attractive part, and it's not the part that anybody wants to talk about, but one of the reasons why I know what I'm doing when I wake up to go to work in my company is because I have all this stuff down. One of the reasons why when people want to intern with my company, I'm able to say, yes, I need you as an intern, or no, I don't need you as an intern, because I have everything written down in terms of how I produce my stuff. So I can say, oh yeah, if you came on board, you could take this particular part. Most people can't make those kind of decisions, and they're just like, oh my God, I just need help. I need help. And then somebody comes on board and that person winds up being more of a burden than they are a blessing. It's because you don't understand the system for production. The third element in your system for production, so cycles, processes, I don't know what that is. I don't know what my word is there. Now I have to think about it, like, what did I write down? Is cycles, processes. I typed it, but I can't read my chicken scratch. So let me just think. If I'm producing, I need my cycles, I need my processes. Oh, my delivery system. That must be what that says. Yeah. Then I need my delivery system. So when you are producing something, whether you're producing a speech, whether you're producing a life coaching session, whether you're producing a journal, a book, a candle, whatever, when you're producing something, the other thing in your production process, the third pillar of that system, is how are you going to deliver that thing to the people that are purchasing it from it? Because remember, we're in business, so we're not just producing to produce. We need to understand how we are going to deliver the thing that we are producing, right? And so the third pillar is to think through, okay, Stacey, when you write a speech, how are you going to deliver it? Oh, I'm going to deliver it in 15 minutes in real time. All of that is written down. I know it seems like the most extra thing in all the land to do, but there's a reason why people are compensated at higher rates to do things that are very, very easy. It's because they have a whole entire business that says This is the quality that I can guarantee because I know how long it takes me to produce it. I know what the process is to produce it, and I know how I'm going to deliver it. I know how I'm going to deliver the business mindset manual to you guys. The people who invest in the business mindset manual, if you're within the first 100 people, first of all, soon you're going to get a link so that way we can set up our one-on-one call where you can get a target market audit. You're going to get a password and a code for you to be able to log into a private page where you have access to these videos and bonus videos and other content that I didn't talk about live. And you're going to get a downloadable PDF of a 50+ page manual to be able to work through so you can shift your business mindset. I already know that's how I'm going to deliver that to people. And I know that I'm not going to have, like, I could be on another continent and that delivery is still going to happen. And I know the systems that are in place that are going to make sure every single person who invested gets that thing. But most people are like, oh my gosh, I want to make shirts. And so they make shirts, but then they don't know how they're going to get the shirts to people. And it's just like, are you going to pay in shipping? Are you going to put it in a box? Are you going to wrap it in tissue paper? Are you going to put your logo on it? Are you going to use a sticker? Like, what are you going to use? And that is your delivery part that you have to think through, because that also is a part of your production. So that's the third system that you're going to need in terms of creating a business. And I know, guys, you guys are listening to this and your eyes are rolling in the back of your head, which is the reason why I created the business mindset manual with the checklist and you having lifetime access to this video, so that way, while your mind is blowing now and it's a lot to absorb in a week, you will have the rest of your life to absorb this content. It's not going to take you the rest of your life. It may take you like a month of concentrated study to absorb this content and then practice it in your own business, because you do need that production system. The fourth and final system that you're going to need, and this is a really important system. It could have easily been the first, but I like to get the other ones out because they're much more complicated than this one. But the fourth system that you're going to need is your client system. And your client system is, again, with the 3 pillars, your client system is essentially the system that tells you how you take care of your customers and clients. And my customers and clients begin at the community level. So anybody who opts into my community, whether you watch me one time, you subscribe, you follow, whatever, anybody who opts in, I like to make sure that I have a system in place to take care of that person. After you convert from community to target market or community, or after you convert from like people who are standing on the peripheral to community, then community to target market to customer, like I have a system in place to take care of all of that. Like, what happens after you buy from me? How do I take care of people after they buy from me? How do I keep loving on them? How do I keep nurturing them? How do I keep that relationship going? How do I make it easy for them to refer me to other people? How do I make it easy for them to share me with other people? What is that whole process like? How do I follow up if they didn't like something? How do I process refunds? How do I handle disputes? How do I like if somebody like tried my product and something happened, and like, how would I handle that? What is my process for disputes? What is my process for happy clients? What is my process for clients who are like, meh, I don't really know if this was for me? Like, what is my process for client management? And most people drop the ball here when it comes to business, because for them, once they get the money, the relationship is done and over. And one of the things that I've learned in business is that, and this is something that my coach says, is that buyers like to buy. So what tends to happen is the person who buys one thing from you, they're likely to buy 2 things from you. And if they buy 2 things from you, they're likely to buy 10 things from you. And I used to feel really weird about that. Like, I used to be like, man, I don't want people to buy more than one thing from me, because they're just going to see that I keep doing the same thing over and over, but in a different way. And it really wasn't until I connected with my coach that I realized that, like, yes, Stacey, they're continuing to buy from you to get the way that you do it from a different perspective, because it's a different product, because they resonate with you. They like the way that you do stuff. So like, a lot of people were like, you know, what's the difference between the business mindset and the money mindset? Well, first of all, money mindset is focused on money and dissolving those emotional wounds and those limiting beliefs that are preventing you from maintaining your financial dignity, saving money, earning money, and spending money confidently. That's what the money mindset manual is about. So it's dissolving those beliefs. The business mindset manual is really me supporting you in taking off that hat of an employee and putting on the hat of entrepreneur and running your business like a business, so you can move out of the feast to famine cycle, so you can earn consistent income and build a meaningful company. So it's like some of the tenets will be the same, but the work that you do, that part is going to be like, oh yeah, this makes sense that Stacey would ask that question because she does that. She thinks things are emotional. That's who I am. but ultimately the outcome is going to be very different, because the people who invest in the business mindset manual are going to walk away with a strategy and clarity and insight on how to structure their own company in a way that it generates consistent income. They won't have to say, I wonder how Stacey is working part-time and making $5,000 a month. You're gonna know, because every single thing that I implemented in the last year and some change is what I put in the business mindset manual. The first thing that I did was I worked on my emotional maturity and my emotional management. Like, I was like, I gotta figure this thing out, because if I don't believe in myself, is it possible for me to think I'm gonna have other people believe in me? Absolutely not. So that I dealt with that. Then I took on my economic responsibility. I set my prices, and I said, this is what your price point is going to be for all of the products and services. This is why. I did that first. Then I went into my target market, and you guys heard me. Those of you guys who have been following me for a while, and I would do my budget report card reviews, I would be like, okay, I really need to work on my systems. I really need to work on my systems. And people would be like, what do you mean when you say that? And I'm like, oh, my business system. These are the business systems that I was talking about. And I was talking about them not because I planned on doing a business mindset manual later, but I was talking about them because I meant that thing. This is what you need to have in place in order for you to earn a consistent income. And as that relates to your fourth system of customer management, is that, like, because I worked on that, I'm able to have repeat business with the same customer without feeling weird. Make weird pants that they've invested in one thing and they're going to get another thing. Everything that you get from me should have the essence of me on it, because this is my company, but it still should be able to serve you and give you the outcome that you want. And that's a decision that I made in terms of me organizing and structuring my client system. And again, inside the business mindset manual, what you will have in this section are checklists for you to go through and say, okay, do I have a system in place to do this for my client? Do I know how to nurture my client? Do I know how to send a birthday announcement to you'll have a checklist of various different things to support you in really, really working with your clients and the people in your community to make sure that they are very, 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 very well taken care of. And that would be it for today in systems and how to organize your business. I encourage you to replay this over and over and over again. Let it seep in, drip by drip, bit by bit. For those of you guys who have the business mindset manual, obviously bring up your checklist on the side, listen to it, bring up the thoughts and feelings about your business as well, so that way you can really let these things seep in to truly be able to shift your paradigm. Because if you don't organize your business, your income will not be consistent. And you have to organize your business, in my opinion, by bare minimum these four systems. Obviously, every business is different. So for example, if you're in real estate, there may be another system that you need to have in place that's not mentioned here, but you can see from a structural place that these are foundational systems, whether you're in real estate or you're in journaling or you're in speaking or you're in influencing. These are the foundational things that you need. And for the people who struggle and they're like, man, I know I have a good idea, why don't I have a business? It may just be because you haven't sat down to organize it. So I highly encourage you to sit down and organize it. Oh, Mental Health Matters just paid me $2. Oh, I am gonna give me a caramel macchiato. You know what's funny is I'm like doing the last little bit on the finishing touches on the manual, and I was like, man, after I go to the gym, I really want a caramel macchiato. And I was like, but it's not in the budget. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will definitely be stopping to get that caramel macchiato. I really appreciate that. I'm so happy that you're enjoying my content. That is my aim. You guys definitely demanded this from me. You wanted me to pull behind, pull the curtain to the side, and you guys are like, how are you out here running this business? And this is how I'm doing it. And I'm okay. So I'm gonna wrap things up here, and then I'm gonna pop back on in 30 seconds and we're gonna do a Q&A. So thank you so much for listening. This video will be up, I believe, until Sunday